Tesla was again a victim of attempted sabotage. India invites Tesla to come on in. Consumer Report shows the world the cost benefits of EVs. And California says no more to combustion engines. This is Tesla Tidbits episode number 626 for October 7th, 2020. We start the show off today with another attempted sabotage against Tesla, courtesy of Bloomberg. Way back in episode 417, I reported on what turned into the Tesla legal case against Martin Tripp, whom they accused of stealing data from the company and damaging the Tesla manufacturing operating system. For this one, Bloomberg obtained an email sent to the company. We have fewer details this time, but we do have an admission. Tesla's IT and InfoSec teams thwarted the attack and ultimately determined the source of the attack. Tesla VP of Legal and Acting General Counsel Al Prescott said in the email, quote, 2 weeks ago, our IT and InfoSec teams determined that an employee had maliciously sabotaged a part of the factory. Their quick actions prevented further damage and production was running smoothly again a few hours later, end quote. They did not name the employee, though, judging by what happened in the Tripp case, there's likely a lawsuit coming that we'll find this information out from. Interestingly, the story eerily plays out a bit like the Russian hacking attempt. In that story, the Russian national told the employee they could attempt blaming another employee for the attempt if they were questioned. The email states that the employee did indeed try to blame a coworker in an effort to avoid being caught. However, the email states that in the face of, quote, irrefutable evidence, end quote, the employee admitted to the act and was terminated. Kudos to the InfoSec folks at Tesla. I suspect that this was an attempted ransomware attack, and I know what lengths my organization has gone to in order to prevent these, as these are the type of attacks that keep InfoSec folks up at night. Shout out to Tesla InfoSec, and congrats on not only stopping and mitigating the problem, but catching the culprit. The next story could be the beginning of the next big market for Tesla, and it comes courtesy of Tesla Club India via the Economic Times in India. Rumors had been heating up of some activity in India, and the ET reports that Tesla initiated talks first to build a research center in India. One of ET's articles said that someone familiar with the discussions said, quote, Tesla has shown initial interest to invest in a research and innovation center in Karnataka, and the talks are at a preliminary stage, end quote. But the possibilities didn't end there. In a separate article, ET reports that the government also has offered them support to bring manufacturing online in the country. Gaurav Gupta, the principal secretary of Karnataka's Commerce and Industries Department, said, quote, we have offered them, Tesla, all support to set up a research and development center as well as the manufacturing unit, ellipsis. Bengaluru has a favorable ecosystem for electric vehicles, and Tesla can leverage on that, end quote. With over 1 billion people in India that need EVs to supplant ICE vehicles to begin cleaning up the air as soon as possible, Tesla would be in a very strategic spot to soak up a ton of potential customers. In a story that's been mostly common knowledge for some time, but maybe not with a household name behind it, Consumer Reports puts to rest any debate about the cost of maintaining an EV versus a traditional ICE vehicle. Its article starts off mentioning the average repair of a vehicle in the US is in the $500 to $600 range, but as we all know, it can get far worse than that. Consumer Reports set out to do original research on the maintenance costs of pure EVs and corroborated other research that concludes that EVs are the way to go if you want a low maintenance cost in addition to a low operating cost. The number they came up with was that those that chose to purchase an EV could save an average of $4,600 over the life of the vehicle compared to an ICE vehicle. Chris Harto, Consumer Reports senior transportation and energy analyst, said, quote, it has long been well known that EVs are cheaper to maintain than their gasoline-powered counterparts, ellipsis, but this is the first time we've had enough hard data from actual EV owners to prove the point, end quote. And this is with many first-generation EVs providing the data for the study. Harto points out that, quote, automakers have learned from their earlier models, so current-generation EVs may be more reliable than many of the vehicles shown in the results, end quote. So that number may get even better with late-model EVs. Finally today, California Governor Gavin Newsom recently hung the sword of Damocles over the collective heads of the internal combustion engine in the state of California. In a series of tweets, the governor said, quote, New, we're facing a climate crisis. We need bold action. California is phasing out the internal combustion engine. By 2035, every new car sold in California will be an emission-free vehicle. Cars shouldn't give our kids asthma, make wildfires worse, melt glaciers, or raise sea levels. California's greenhouse gas emissions, 80% of smog forming pollution, and 95% of toxic diesel emissions. California will be leading the nation in this effort, joining 15 other countries that have committed to phasing out gasoline powered cars. We will use our market power to push zero emission vehicle innovation and drive down costs for everyone. End quote. This makes California the first state in the U.S. to officially declare the end of the internal combustion engine. It will be interesting to see how many additional states follow their lead. That will do it for today's show. Thanks to all my patrons supporting the show at patreon.com/Tesla Tidbits. And I do have a big shout out tonight to super patron Brad Lettner, who has now become a show sponsor. I'll be working with him in the coming days as he decides what he'd like to promote on the show. Thanks for your additional support, Brad. And as always, a special shout out to all the super patrons supporting the show at the $10 plus level. They are Ryan Scarborough, Lee Sweet, William Henry Crew III, Dorian Steve Guberman, Ralph and Cheryl Waterhouse, Todd Sullivan, Mitch Long, Zortek LED Canada, Morvanog, Raymond and Deborah Malkowitz, T Sportline, Vicky Kirk, Ricky Johnston, Nathan Garza, Ed Patterman, and Sunil Joseph. If you have feedback for me, the best way to be heard is to tweet at Tesla Tidbits and use the hashtag AskTeslaTidbits if you'd like your question to be considered for the show. Until next time, keep it charged and hit the road.